The largest plantation in America just burned down. Here's an example, another one, and another one.
Seeing that plantation burn down brought me a lot of joy, because why are there plantations still around anyway?
And why do Americans glamorize and hold such a special place in their hearts for plantations? The largest surviving antebellum period plantation, Nottoway, burned down in Louisiana over the weekend. And it was met with two different reactions. The reaction of those formerly enslaved Africans whose grandparents and great-grandparents were born at that plantation.
And you know for sure, black people, they had to get their cowboy boots on. Let's go party. Let's go party, baby.
And then this reaction, a reaction from white Southerners who are talking about their culture and their history and making it seem like something very endearing was lost.
Yeah, I was sad to see the Nottoway Plantation.
Everyone from all over the world came here to tour Nottoway. Just the history. It stood this whole time, and now to see it just burned down, it's really sad.
I don't care how beautiful you thought it was. That plantation burning down, that was justice. That was release. That was over a century of pain exhaling. And if you're more upset about the building than the bodies that built it, you were never on the right side of history to begin with.
So the Nottoway Plantation got burnt down. With its ugly history of enslaving black people decided to go and celebrate. Meanwhile, that thing was on fire. Black people were like, all right, it's a very good time to go and put on our cowboy boots and hats and dance because our ancestors are at work. Yeah, they're saying enough is enough. And meanwhile, black people saw it is a time for celebration, clearly so, as they should be feeling a sense of celebration because that is a place that held a lot of emotions and history of black people. I mean, from the 1800s until 2025, the fact that that place was surviving with the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors, black people were like, it's a good time to come and celebrate. But guess who is angry? Yeah, they are angry, very angry, extremely angry. And I think I'm gonna have to do a different video about that tomorrow so I can show you the minds of these people, how they think. The fact that they think this is a place to be glorified. Like, it is so bizarre how people went there. These people, they went there during high school and they took their kids there. They gave birth to kids now that they are grown-ups, and they took kids there so that them kids can learn about their history, which literally goes ahead to tell black people, oh, yeah, they are so rooted in their racism as their history that they claim that they even taking their kids from a very young age so they can see their history. But ladies and gentlemen, let's see what black people got to say about it, because let me tell you, folks are celebrating and they're happy on the internet. By the way, if you're new here, hi, welcome. If you like my content, my name is Nottoway Esther. I love the support that you guys give me. You know, I can't even focus because in my mind I'm thinking, I just want to show you how black people are rejoicing.
The scene behind me is a plantation house in Louisiana that is burned down. It's burning down in this video. But this is not just any plantation house. This was the largest antebellum plantation house in the South, owned by one of the richest enslavers in the South. This is the Nottoway Plantation in Louisiana. It was built by enslaved Africans in 1859. It was owned by this guy, John Randolph. Now, John wasn't even from Louisiana. He was from Virginia originally, but he came from a wealthy slave-owning family, and his dad was hired by the federal government to do something in Louisiana, and he moved with him. Now, originally he wanted to make it into a cotton plantation, the same type of plantation that he was used to in Virginia. But he noticed that the climate in Louisiana was a lot different, so he changed it to a sugar plantation. And because of that, he ended up tripling his family's wealth. John Randolph enslaved 176 people. But the plantation house itself was built around the same time as the Civil War. John didn't want to fight in the Civil War. He was scared. So he sent 3 of his sons and he asked, how much money do I have to give to keep me out of this? And he was a huge financial backer of the Confederacy in Louisiana. When he realized that the Confederacy was losing, he left his wife in Louisiana, took 200 slaves, and went to Texas. Once the Civil War was over, he contracted with 53 bonded people, basically people that owed him money and were working to pay it off. It's just another form of slavery. He eventually died in 1883, and his wife eventually sold the plantation for $50,000. That's the equivalent of $1.9 million today. And now he has no legacy at all.
That was release. That was over a century of pain exhaling. And if you're more upset about the building than the bodies that built it, you were never on the right side of history to begin with. So let's talk about it. Nottoway Plantation, the biggest plantation house that was still standing in the South. 53,000 square feet of sugar-coated horror. Enslaved people were forced to build it in 1859 by John Hampton Randolph, a man who got rich off of enslaving over 150 black people. I'm not talking they worked for him. I'm talking full ownership. People with families, names, dreams, all stolen, stripped down, and used. He had that house built to show off. It had gas lighting, hot and cold water, and imported marble in 1859. Meanwhile, the folks who actually built it, they were out in the cane fields breaking their backs from sunup to sundown. No rest, no pay, no freedom, just labor and loss. And when slavery ended, he didn't stop exploiting them. He kept that land going with the same people, now trapped in poverty instead of chains. But here's where it gets disgusting. If we fast forward 100 years, Nottoway becomes a resort, a place you could throw a wedding, a party, a brunch. People literally clink champagne glasses on the same grounds where babies were ripped from their mothers. They turned that plantation into a tourist attraction and never once centered the people who were forced to build it. The tour guides didn't say their names. The website didn't tell their stories. It just showed white columns and rose gardens, like the screams weren't still echoing under the floorboards. That plantation was not preserved history. It was a lie dressed up in chandeliers and white linens, a lie that let people pretend that slavery was just a dark chapter instead of the foundation. And when I saw it burning, that wasn't a tragedy. That was a reckoning. That was the land finally saying enough. And that was the ancestors saying, we're finally done being trapped here. You want to talk about sacred ground? Let the fire be the memorial. Because honestly, that place shouldn't have been standing in 2025. That was a living insult. And for the people who are crying over it, why weren't you crying for the people that it erased? Why weren't you crying for the children that were born into bondage there? For the women that were assaulted in the shadows of those white columns? For the men whose names never made it into the records? You're mourning wood and brick. I'm mourning generation. I hope the fire cracked that sky wide open. I hope the ancestors saw it from wherever they are and said, we can go now. I hope their spirits aren't bound to that place anymore, that they finally return to the land that they were stolen from, whole, restored, free. Let Nottoway stay gone. Let it rot. Let it return to the dirt. Because if a place was built on it and built to erase the people who spilled it, it never deserved to survive.
Because, of course, there's going to be the white people in the comments saying, all these comments are so disgusting and sad. Like, a building doesn't commit sins, you guys. It's beautiful. You can't see it by the architecture. The architecture. Like, it's such a beautiful place, and this is just so sad.
Hey y'all, it's Neil with the Black Wall Street Times. Listen, Nottoway Plantation, the largest surviving slave mansion in the South, has burned to the ground. And while some might call that a tragedy, many black people see it differently. That mansion was built by enslaved black people, our ancestors.
I have to tell the story right now. One, because that plantation is burning down. Yes, RIP to my ancestors. Two, because I'm not wasting this makeup look. But let me tell you about the time I went to my husband's teammate's wedding, and we had to drive all the way to South Carolina, and I didn't realize it was at a plantation until the day before the wedding. So we get to South Carolina, me and my husband get there. I'm like, all right, so let's figure out like the wedding details, because it's like we have to meet one place to catch a bus and then drive like an hour to the venue. I was like, let me look this up. I'm looking it up. Babes, it's a plantation. I was like, ooh. I said no. I'm talking to my husband. I said, did you know this? He was like, no. And he's like, not that, like, he doesn't really care. And I was like, I feel some type of way, because why are we going to a plantation for a wedding? I didn't know people did this. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's owned by like black people. No, it's not. It's owned by white people. I said, okay, like, I don't really feel comfortable going, but we already drove up here. And then there's like an event the day before the wedding. we're one of four Black people, which is fine. But if you're Black and you know how it is sometimes when you're like the only Black people at an event, like you're the one that has to dance and people make weird comments. So we go to like the wedding invite, like cocktail hour the night before. It's myself, my husband's not even there yet because he doesn't get in, his flight doesn't get until later. So it's me, his teammate, which I was like, yes. And then like one other Black guy who's like, not gonna lie, like homeboy was white, but whatever. So I was like, okay, but the people are great, the family's great, but I just really felt a way about this like plantation. So then fast forward to the next day, we get on a bus to drive an hour. We are going out into the sticks because where's every plantation? In the sticks. So we're already in South Carolina. Is it? Yes, South Carolina. And the day before, we're like touring the city and we're at the port where they dropped the slaves off. Like I said, okay, so now I'm soaking up the history and I'm like, we're really about to go to a plantation where my ancestors like got off this boat, walked this same cobble path, and we have to go now get drunk at a wedding. Like, then we get there and I just felt unsettled. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I immediately like got a drink because I was like, if we gonna do this, I need to not be the most sober. Now I didn't get wasted or anything, but it's just odd. Like, what would y'all do? Like, I didn't know. Like, if I had known prior to me driving those 6 hours there and already getting a hotel, like, stop having weddings at plantations. Do y'all not feel weird?
If Donald Trump really is a president for all of America like he claims, then it's only right that this video gets posted to the official White House page as an ASMR video. Not too long ago, the official White House page posted an ASMR video of migrants being detained without due process, handcuffed, and deported off to a torture prison in El Salvador. So it's only right that he ensures that this video of the Nottoway Plantation in Louisiana, the largest slave plantation in the history of the South, where enslaved Africans were stolen from their land and stolen from their homes and forced to build this plantation, which was the home of their enslaver, which then was later marketed as a tourist location where you could do weddings and events. It's only right that this video is posted on the official White House page as an ASMR video. I mean, the cackling and the crackling and the ancestors laughing, it's quite literally perfect for ASMR. It makes me want to rub my feet together and get some hot cocoa.
Someone said, because we made the gingers black, when that Annabelle doll got to New Orleans, she got to work.